Welcome to the Voices That Propel Us, stories of justice, action, and community, a space where justice meets action and community voices rise. Each episode, we bring you stories from the front lines, changemakers, disruptors, and everyday heroes who are building a more just, equitable, and liberated world. This is more than a podcast. It's a call to listen, learn, and move together. You were just listening to music from the incredibly talented Stephen Kong. You can find him on Spotify and Bandcamp. Today we have with us Nicholas Adkins. Nicholas is just a guy in a kilt who rides a pink furry bike and whose dog is a real-life teddy bear. He is grateful to have shared the Pinksocks story at TEDxSanFrancisco. He is the author of Pinksocks, How a Pair of Socks Became a Symbol of Love and Connection. You can get your copy in the link in the episode description. Okay, well, hi, Nick. I'm really excited and grateful to have you here. I think you did such a beautiful movement of spreading kindness just around the world. And I think what I really love about that is how it was very tangible and visual way to show how your movement is spreading. But how are you doing today?
I'm great, Denise. It's good to see you. And thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm grateful for that.
No, thank you so much for reaching out. This is exactly what, I want on the podcast, just for people to hear inspiring stories of just goodness and spreading joy. So thank you for being here.
Well, hey, I'm stoked to be on here. I'm really happy that you read the book and that it spoke to you. So
that's very beautiful.
I can't wait to talk more about that in our time.
No, so one thing that I wanted to bring up, so I loved your bio that you sent to me. It actually made me chuckle. So you often describe yourself as just a guy in a kilt who rides a pink furry bike. And so for people meeting you for the first time, who is Nicholas beyond the kilt, the bike, and the socks?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just a guy in a kilt who's spreading love and kindness around the world. Yeah. And that's really what people, they say, what do you do? If I was in New York earlier this week or last week and speaking at an AI conference in the Empire State Building, which was really cool. And, in the elevator, and somebody looks at me and goes, well, what do you do? And I spread love and kindness around the world. And they're like, no, really, what do you do? I go, no, really, that's what I do.
Yeah. What are their reactions when they finally realize that you're being serious about that?
Yeah, that's fun because not on that elevator ride, but last month I was at another conference in Boston in the elevator, and there was one guy in a suit. I get in, in the kilt with pink socks, and then another guy on another floor gets in a suit. And I happen to know the second guy who got on the elevator. He's at the same conference that I was at in Boston. And the first guy in the suit, he's looking at me, he goes, what do you do? And I say, I spread love and kindness around the world. And he looks at the other guy in the suit, kind of rolls his eyes a little, and then says, no, really, what do you do? And the other guy in the suit, he raises his pants legs from his suit, and he's wearing the pink socks.
Wow.
He looks at the guy and he goes, that's really what he does. And so to watch that guy's mind just go, oof, get blown.
That's amazing.
It was fun.
No, that's what I was saying about you having a very tangible, visual way of spreading is people who are part of this movement. You could literally see them wearing the socks and
they're like Pinksocks Life. When I give them a sticker and says love more Pinksocks Life, and people go, do you have a business card? I'm like, no, but here, all we have to do is show up with love and kindness. You're already doing that, so here, just keep doing that. Love more.
Okay.
And then they say Pinksocks Life. I go, yeah, that's it. And they go, are there really pink socks? I'm like, yes. I go, see them? I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, and then I'd love to just talk more about Pinksocks for those who, don't, my listeners who don't know about it. So what moment or experience first sparked this Pinksocks movement, Pinksocks Life movement? And was it intentional or something that folded organically?
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. So I'm going to sit back. And so I'm going to invite you to just sit back and I'm going to riff. All right.
Yeah.
Because what you and your listeners really need to know is, well, how did this all get started? And so I'm going to peel it back to most of my adult life. I was a suit and tie guy, custom suits, cufflinks. I was that guy. I was the COO of a healthcare company in Nashville, Tennessee. And I went to this thing, and this is in 2010. So we're going to go back 15 years now. I went to this thing called Burning Man. It's in the desert in Nevada. It's a big week-long event, festival, experiential living, try to see if we can all get along. People from all around the world, 70,000 people descend in the desert in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and see if we can all get along and not have it kind of disintegrate into Lord of the Flies before the end of the week. So I went to this thing called Burning Man, and at the time at work, we were trying to decide, what we wanted to do with the company. What was the direction? We were kind of at a crossroads. Should we merge with this company? Should we acquire that company? Should we take on more debt? Should we build this thing out? What should we just sell and be done? And I said in the boardroom, I said, listen, I don't really know what my vote is right now. I'm going to go to this thing called Burning Man. It's in the desert, Nevada, for a week. I'll come back. I'll have my answer. Go to Burning Man, come back. Now I'm in the boardroom in blue jeans and a t-shirt and Tevas, and I hadn't shaved all week and I'm all tan. And they're like, well, how was that Burning Man thing? I said, it was great. Well, what do you want to do with the company? I said, sell it. I'm out. Like, what? They're like, yeah, sell it. Like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to move to Portland, Oregon and become a hippie.
Wow.
And that's what we did. So we sold the company the next year, 2011. And in the spring of 2012, I moved to Portland, Oregon. And that was April of 2012. And June of 2012, so just shortly thereafter, I met a burner who owns a kilt company in Portland. The name of the company is called Stumptown Kilts. And he said, Nick, have you ever worn a kilt? I said, no. And he goes, you want to try one? I said, yeah, of course I do.
That's awesome.
And so June of 2012 was the last time I wore pants. I put that kilt on. I put my blue jeans in a bag. I walked out. I never looked back. I took all my pants and stuff to Goodwill. And day one, Denise, of wearing a kilt, I discovered you have to wear fun socks because everyone sees your socks when you wear a kilt. Right. And I didn't want to be that guy wearing knee-high dress black socks with Bermuda shorts, not that guy. Yeah. So I bought all of these fun, funky socks that I could find. T-Rexes, robots, Sasquatch, cupcakes, unicorns. I mean, you name it. And the pair that had the most, hey, I like your socks, were these pink ones, knee-high pink socks with a black handlebar mustache.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how I got into wearing fun, funky socks. And so fast forward now to 2015. I'm in Portland. I'm doing a pretty good job at being a hippie. And along the way, I had met some people back from the business world who said, hey, we've got this startup. Would you like to be involved? I'm like, yeah, maybe. And so I became involved as the COO and a co-founder of a company that created the world's first open API for asynchronous video file management on a HIPAA stack, which is all this healthcare mumbo jumbo for security. Basically, the ability to securely record, store, and share a video. Maybe you want to have your doctor, telling your parents or your partner, hey, she's going to come out of anesthesia. She's not going to remember any of these instructions. We want her to take care of herself and not come back to the hospital. So we're going to record this little video you guys can watch later and share among your team, but it can't get uploaded to YouTube or Facebook. You don't want that out in the wild. So we built a way to keep that video file, that video artifact secure. And so in the business world, especially in the startup world, you have to find some money, right? So you've got to find investors. And so we were in that process of pitching all the VC firms down in California and New York and Boston. And I said, well, we've really got to get our name on the radar screen. We got really cool technology here. So I looked up and said, I found this conference of healthcare IT professionals. It's like the Super Bowl for these people, right? And it was their annual conference that year in 2015 was in Chicago. 42,000 people in suits and ties and, getting their IT healthcare nerd on. And I said to our chief technology officer and other co-founder, Andrew Richards, I said, look, we're going to go to this thing in Chicago. It's a bunch of suit and tie people. I don't have a suit anymore. I'm out of that. So I'll be wearing a kilt. You wear blue jeans and a brew pub t-shirt. I'm going to go buy 100 pair of these pink socks with the mustaches. I'm going to put 50 in my little bag. You're going to put 50 in your little bag. And we're going to go rolling into the McCormick Center in Chicago. And every time somebody comes up and says, hey, what's the story with those pink socks? I'm going to say, well, I'm Nick and this is Andrew. What's your name?
Yeah.
We're going to connect, right? And oh, by the way, I've got some pink socks for you.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. And it literally, Denise, I mean, from the moment we walked in, people were coming up to us. And I think you've read the book, so you know the whole story. I don't go away too much to that origin story, but we immediately, the hashtag Pink Socks went viral at the event. We were getting invited to go meet with C-level people at Walgreens and IBM and Dell and Intel. And just, we went from nobody ever hearing about us to being like the thing. And, you know, we had fun with it. And that's back when Twitter was fun. And everybody's getting pictures in their pink socks and using the hashtag and posting it. And we traveled around for that year to other conferences around the country, to other health IT events, doing the same thing, showing up, gifting pink socks and having fun with it and blowing up Twitter. And when it was time in 2016 to go back to that same conference that we went to, the big one, the Super Bowl conference, I was literally sitting on the couch talking with Andrew, and he was like, well, what are we going to take with us? So I think that year that it had moved either to Orlando or Las Vegas, and maybe Orlando. And I said, I don't know. I said, but we can't take pink socks. That was fun. We had a great time. We made a lot of connections, a lot of friends, had tons of fun on Twitter. But we have to do something different, because it's kind of like Elvis. You know, there was young, cool Elvis, and then there was old, fat Elvis. And I didn't want pink socks to go out as old, fat Elvis. I wanted to go. And no joke, somebody sent me a DM on Twitter while I'm on the phone saying this with Andrew in real time, and said, hey, this person on Twitter said, did you send some pink socks to somebody in the Netherlands? I'm like, what? And I go log in, and there was a guy who had sourced pink socks on his own, and he was gifting them in the Netherlands to help drive awareness for the work that he does with Alzheimer's and dementia care. Yeah. And then immediately I get another DM. Did you send some pink socks to somebody in Wales? Wow. No. There's a guy in Wales who had sourced pink socks on his own and was gifting them to help drive awareness for the work that he does with ataxia, which is a rare disease. It's in that moment, Denise, that we knew that pink socks had gone organic and it had become something, and it really never looked back. And in 2017, I got invited to do a TEDx talk in San Francisco. And after that, it really just, and as you read in the book, you know, it just grew and grew, and it became a thing that none of us had a plan for. Yeah. It just evolved, just happened that, you know, people are, all of us, we crave connection. You know, it's hardwired in our brainstem, it's in our DNA, that we want to connect with other humans. And so, you know, we celebrated our 10th anniversary this past April. So we've been doing this for 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so we became a 501c3 nonprofit, which is a tax-exempt charitable organization, so we could bring in donations to help support the work that we're doing about spreading love and kindness around the world. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing to watch and to be, you know, part of and to experience. And I'm grateful for it, to see how people are using pink socks in their lives and their communities and their organizations all around the world to celebrate each other and to amplify the message of good things they're doing in their lives. Yeah. You know, so much of social media is, hey, look at me, look how cool I am. Look at my vacation. Look at my coffee. There's a little heart on the top of my latte. I mean, pink socks is an opportunity for you to celebrate someone other than yourself. It's an opportunity to say, hey, look at what she's doing. Look at what they're doing. Look, hey, way to go. Yeah. And that shared community, that shared tribe of celebrating each other, you know, we find we find ourselves, we find humanity.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd like to ask you some questions about the book, but
Yeah.
at the heart of Pinksocks, it's built on this ethos of gifting,
I love that.
right?
Yeah.
And one of the 10 principles from Burning Man social contract that everybody has to
Mhm.
sign off on is, something doesn't get all weird and wonky in Lord of the Flies before the end of the week. One of those principles is gifting.
Okay.
And Pink Socks, the movement, is built on this ethos of gifting that once upon a time
Yeah.
you had a connection with someone
Yeah.
and you saw their pink socks and you said, "Oh, those are cool. That's fun. That's funky."
Yeah.
Boom. That was the opportunity for the person wearing the pink socks. It was the universe tapping them on the shoulder to say,
Right.
"Hey, I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to put my phone down. Maybe I stay on the train, another stop." I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Denise. Hey, I'm Nick. Hey, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Because, if we can all take out our earbuds,
Yeah.
we can all get off our phones for a minute and look at each other and say, "Hey, it's good to see you." Those moments of connection are where the magic is. That connection is really the gift.
Yeah.
Pink Socks is just a reminder that once upon a time you had a connection with someone. And the
No.
book is full of stories like that. It's really
Yeah.
um, why I wrote it, because through the years, people have said, I mean, early on, they're like, "Oh, Nick, you should write a book about the Pink Socks movement." I was like,
Okay.
the book really needed these 10 years
Yeah.
to write itself, because
Right.
it is a collection of the stories that you've read, and
Hmm.
it needed to happen. It needed to wait. It needed to marinate to get to the point where it is now.
Yeah.
And the point where it is now, I just felt like, man, we just need a reminder, all of us, to
Yeah.
show up with love and kindness, in a world that sometimes feels very dark and fractured, and
Yeah.
with lots of help from social media making it feel that way and be that way, and all the algorithms that are, fear, fear, fear. We just need a
Yeah.
reminder to love more, fear less. We're
Yeah.
all in this thing together, and if we can just stop and have these connections one at a time, whether it's standing in line at the post office or the grocery store, sitting next to someone on the plane,
Yeah.
there's always opportunities throughout the day
I
to
love
share in
that.
that shared experience of humanity. And
Yeah.
we have the choice of how we want to show up in each now.
Yeah.
And so it's a reminder to show up with love and kindness and empathy and compassion,
Yeah. No, I
all
love
the
that.
things that make us good humans.
Yeah.
And when we allow ourselves to do that, give ourselves the space and the self permission,
Yeah.
magic happens, because we all want that. No
Yeah.
matter what our geopolitical boundaries are or political ideologies, when it sits one on one, we see, oh, hey,
Yeah.
we're a lot more similar than we are different.
Yeah. No, I love that too. And I think that's why, like, I feel like you and I are very similar in that sense, in that shared value, because connection is really important to me as well. And actually, I wanted to start this podcast too because I feel like there's so much negativity, so much division right now in the world. And, just for you to have that, like, what it sounds like a core value of connection. So, yeah, what do you hope like connection can do to help to like heal all this like divisiveness that we've been seeing right now?
Yeah. Well, listen, Denise, I'm thankful
Hmm.
that you've started your podcast, because yes, the
Hmm.
world needs more voices of
Yeah,
love and focusing on love more than fear. I mean, the
right.
fire hose of negativity, the fire hose of fear that the algorithms
Yeah,
are running just nonstop to keep us separated from ourselves and from each
right.
other. You know, we have to we have to put that device down and let
Yeah.
ourselves return to what we know to be true.
Uh-huh.
We have to get out of our mind. The algorithms are working nonstop on our minds to influence
Yeah.
us. And we have to move back down into our heart. And our
Yeah.
hearts already know the way. They've known the way since before we were born. It's
Yeah.
a message of love. It's
Yeah.
nothing new, right? It's been handed down through the generations that the path is to love ourselves and to love each other. And
Yeah.
that's really what the book is about. And, we speak about connection,
Hmm.
and, there's a difference between connectivity
Uh-huh.
connection. So our phones, this is connectivity.
Yeah.
We're drowning in connectivity,
Totally.
drowning in it.
Yeah.
But what we're craving is connection, true,
Yeah.
authentic connection. So we can't mix up and confuse connectivity and connection. I mean, what you and I are doing right now, even though it's
Hmm.
remote at a distance,
Yeah.
this is connection.
For sure.
We're using connectivity to
Hmm.
connect.
Hmm.
But what we're doing right now is true authentic connection. And in a world
Yeah.
of AI, oh my goodness, these moments of authentic connection are
Right.
really, really important. And there's nothing more important than in real life connections that we can happen throughout the day. So
Yeah.
we have to invite ourselves and give ourselves the permission to say, hey, I'm going to take this out. I'm actually going to talk to the person next to me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And actually, I wanted to ask you about that too, because I've been thinking a lot about that too, and just building like an audience and getting more people to pay attention. But how do you think we can like break past that like negative algorithm? Because I was actually talking to someone about that, and yeah, they're just saying that it seems like people are drawn more towards the negative, and I don't know what it is, like, like true crime or, just more
Yeah.
negative, but like not as much drawn to like positivity, inspiration, hope. So how do you think we can like get people to like be more attracted to the positive versus like being drawn to the negative?
Yeah, you have to put your phones down. We have
Okay.
to we
Yeah,
have to give our
totally.
we have to give ourselves a break because what the algorithms are doing
Yeah.
is they're selling us fear and they're keeping us in a state of permacrisis, in
Right.
a state of chaos. And right, so our amygdala, part of our brain that's
Yeah.
like fight or flight, it's on fire. And this permacrisis chaos keeps us in a constant mode. Our neurochemistry is on fire with all these hormones that keep us in this, high cortisol, adrenaline. I mean, we're
Yeah.
just in a state of fear and flight. So we have to ground ourselves, and we're not going to be able to do that if we're constantly doom scrolling on here.
Mhm.
And if once you practice this,
Yeah.
you can almost feel like, oh nope, I can feel the algorithm in there.
Right.
That's your moment because you're like, I was feeling great. I
Yeah.
took the dog for a walk. I had some coffee with a friend. I'd stopped and smelled some flowers. I saw a butterfly. Oh,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a great day. And then you pick up your phone and then you're right back into the shit. And you're like, oh, dude, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And that's because this thing is promoting fear.
Yeah.
And and fear sells, and fear is addictive, and all of the hormones and stress chemicals that we get from our brains dumped because of fear
Yeah.
is keeping us in this constant. I mean, if you talk to, I've got a lot of friends in the
Hmm.
healthcare world. That's where I came out of. So if I
Okay.
talk to my psychiatrist friends and my psychologist friends, they're all saying, look, we're in a constant state of PTSD.
Yeah.
Our phones are giving us complex PTSD every day over and over and over. So we
Hmm.
have to just ground ourselves, come back into our heart, do some breath work. You know,
Yeah.
this thing is not helping.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing with your podcast and what we're doing at Pink Socks and
Hmm.
all the other people and organizations, we're trying, look, in every now, two things exist:
Okay.
love and fear.
Hmm.
Right. And if we made a T account, a T chart, and we listed things. So here's the attributes of love and here are the attributes of fear. Right.
Yeah.
So love is, empathy, kindness, compassion, sympathy, cooperation, anti-bullying, inclusion, diversity, all these wonderful traits of love.
Yeah.
And the traits of fear, racism, xenophobia, homophobia, bigotry, bullying, etc. We can
Right.
list all the attributes of fear.
Hmm.
And so we have, the script, the algorithm,
Uh-huh.
it's running all the time: love and fear, love and fear, love and fear. They're always running. So you have to make this conscious effort
Mm.
to manifest, to choose love. You
Yeah.
have to choose these attributes of love no matter what. I mean, it's whether, is it my time to show up with kindness? Is it my time to show
Hmm.
up with compassion, empathy, sympathy, cooperation, what do I need
Yeah.
to plug in this any given moment? But don't choose these attributes of fear. And
Yeah.
love and fear are always coexisting in every now. There's always love, there's always fear. We have to decide what we want to focus on. We have
Hmm.
to focus on the love, not the fear. We have to love more and fear less. right?
Yeah.
That's the title of the book and our logo, right? Love more. The rest of that is love more, fear less. Just love more, love
Yeah.
more. It's constant, it's a practice. And the more that we do that,
Yeah.
the easier it becomes. And what's what social media is really doing is it's making it easier to focus on the fear.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the reality is everybody around the world,
Yeah.
we all want the same things. We want love, we want peace.
Yeah.
We want to go to dinner with a friend. We want to go watch the ball game. We want to stop and smell the flowers. We want to walk our dog. We want to pet our cat.
Hmm.
We want to connect. These are universal things that we all want love and we want to be loved and share love. And that's
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah.
And, as I said earlier, this message, it transcends all political ideologies and
Yeah.
geopolitical borders. And when, even people that you can say, well, they just think totally different than I think.
Uh-huh.
When we get one on one
Yeah.
without the team's support
Yeah. No,
behind,
totally.
just when it's just one on one in those moments, everybody lets their guard down and shows their true authentic self, their heart, and we come to each other and say, hey, the common ground is,
Yeah.
and are you scared? Yeah, I'm scared. Great,
Uh-huh.
we're both in this together.
Yeah.
And when we get out of the thing of saying, well, I'm right and you're wrong, what if we just said, I don't know, I don't have the answer. And the other person goes, really, I don't have the answer either. Great. That's our common ground to start with.
Yeah.
And so we see each other in the other person. We
Yeah.
see our brother, we see our sister, our mom, our dad, etc. Right? We
Yeah.
see the humanity in each other. And so it's in the Pinksocks tribe, we always say it's good to see you,
Hmm.
to see you, right? So when I
Yeah.
see someone for the first time, I don't say, hey, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
There's different those words have different energy. If I say, hey, Denise, it's good to meet you,
Uh-huh.
versus, hey, Denise, it's good to see you.
Right. It does
Totally
sound
different
different. Hmm.
energy.
Yeah, totally.
And do you know that some people will go their whole lives never having someone say those words to them? It's good to
Wow.
see you. I see
Wow.
you right now, right? Because seeing someone in the now and telling them, acknowledging it's good to see you,
Yeah.
there is no construct of judgment.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter where you went to school, where you didn't go to school, what
Yeah.
job you have, what job you don't have, how much money you have or how much money you don't have. All of those constructs don't exist when you just say to someone, it's good to see you. I'm seeing
Yeah.
you right now, right in this moment, and it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's another thing I invite you to practice doing,
Yeah.
that is using those words with people and see that there's magic in just
Yeah.
that energy, saying it's good to
Yeah.
see you.
No, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. And I'd
Uh,
love to talk with you more about like your work with children too, because I know that you've like been so inspirational, not just to adults, but also to our younger generations as well. So you're collaborating with teachers who use Pink Socks in social emotional learning. So have you seen kids embody kindness, empathy, and inclusion?
yeah. So I think it was in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
We're just really having a fun time gifting pink socks at a lot of healthcare conferences around the world.
Um,
And there was a first grade teacher in El Paso, Texas. And
okay.
this is in the book, and I can't go too deep in. So there's two
Uh-huh.
chapters in the book. Chapter 5 is called The Teacher, and
Okay.
chapter 6 is called The Schools.
Uh-huh.
And I can barely get through reciting that story without just losing it. I mean, just
I
so I
remember.
have so much um, energy and heart speak around that first teacher,
Yeah.
and uh, I think about how that we got involved and how that story unfolded every
Yeah.
day, and but how we became involved was we were having fun gifting pink socks at conferences around the world, and somebody saw a first grade teacher in El Paso, Texas, named Miss Celine Blancas,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was a guy named Dan Monroe out of Arizona. He's a Forbes contributor and author,
Uh-huh.
and he would eventually be on our board when we formed as a nonprofit. But Dan saw this first grade teacher who was teaching kids about kindness in the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And she was made a post on Facebook that went viral, and that's where he saw her. And then another Pinksocks person in Pittsburgh, Larry Joya, he saw Dan's post about Miss Blancas. And so he reaches out from Pittsburgh to El Paso and says, "Hey, I'd like to gift you some pink socks."
Okay.
And so he sends Miss Blanca some pink socks, and now she's wearing her pink socks, and she's on her social media accounts and her pink socks with her first graders. And that's when I saw her, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's adorable." I reached out to her and said, "How many kids do you have in your first grade class?" And she's like, 32. So sent her 32 pairs of pink socks. And I'm not going to go into the rest of that story, which you know from reading the book, but because of Miss Blanca's work and teaching kids about kindness, anti-bullying, inclusion, empathy, compassion, cooperation, all the stuff that grows good humans for the world. We're now in 34 schools in 9 states around the country, pre-K all the way through high schoolers. And they wear their pink socks typically every Monday. They pick a day of the week. It's usually Monday.
Oh, cool.
And everybody wears their pink socks back to school on Monday. So teachers, kids, cafeteria workers, the bus drivers, the coaches, the crossing guards, everybody. And every grade has a period that day allocated to teaching the attributes of kindness. Like you said, the social emotional learning curriculum. So it's an ongoing thing throughout the school year. And we're really grateful that we can gift those schools their pink socks to help kids learn really the greatest lesson of all, right? It's kindness.
I think with that, because I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she also goes through social emotional learning, and also I was with AmeriCorps for quite a few years, and just learning more about like social emotional learning in the classroom. And I think this is an amazing concept because I don't remember having like SEL when I was in school, and I think it's just really important because my daughter had like some conflict, and rather than it just being punitive and like that being it, but them actually talking with each other and trying to come to like conflict resolution. I think it's really amazing they're like teaching young children about this right now.
I mean, when the pink socks first started, it was just mustaches on the socks.
Okay.
I did the TED talk, I added the puzzle piece.
Oh, so you actually designed these too? Okay,
so
cool.
It's the puzzle piece represents the power of connection.
Okay.
We're all in this together, right?
I love that.
And so there's the label. On the front says, "The world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. Keep doing that."
Oh, that's beautiful.
And the instructions are on the back. I need to get you some pink socks. Oh my goodness.
That's what I was going to ask you after I read the book, if you actually still do the actual socks. I'd love to get socks.
So over 300,000 pairs of these have been gifted all around the world. Again, back to that ethos of gifting.
Okay.
And but the puzzle piece for the kids is, they're teaching kids pre-K all the way through high school, but teaching them, very early on that we're all connected, that we don't leave anyone out on the playground alone, sitting by themselves. We don't leave anyone in the cafeteria alone, eating lunch by themselves. So they're learning that we're all in this together. So if they see somebody alone, they swarm to them and keep them connected.
That's beautiful.
And since we've been doing this since 2018, we have 7 years of history in these schools, and it's like a longitudinal study of objective data, and we survey the teachers on different matrices like absenteeism, reduce absenteeism, reduce tardiness, reduce fights, etc. To show that it works, and it's not just. And the other thing we do, Denise, that's fun is when the school's on board with their pink socks, and the teachers, the school districts, the principals, they've all built the curriculum themselves. So they share it with each other.
Okay.
So it's their curriculum, not ours. But when a new school comes on, an existing school will share the curriculum with the teachers, and they'll have a pink socks kindness pep rally.
Wow,
the day they get their pink socks. And so the week or so before the kindness pep rally, all the kids will do like artwork, depending on their grade level, and they'll have posters all over the school and the gym and the cafeteria, and the cheerleaders will do kindness cheers. So they're kind of ready. And think there's like 1,000 kids at the school. It's not like, hey, a bunch of old people came in and gave us some pink socks. Let's say it's a pre-K through 5 in elementary school. The way it's set up is on the kindness pep rally day, the kids gift each other their pink socks. So the fifth graders,
Uh-huh.
they gift the pink socks to the fourth graders, all in the gym
Oh,
in a big
okay.
assembly,
Okay.
at the pep rally.
Yeah,
So the
that's
fifth
beautiful.
graders gift to the fourth graders, the
Okay.
fourth graders gift to the third graders, the third graders gift to the second, and so
Yeah.
on. And so these kids learn right from the beginning that, hey, yeah, we're all in this together. And these kids are looking up to you.
Okay.
They're watching what you do on the playground. They're watching how you interact in the hallway, when someone says
Yeah.
something ugly, and they have a sense of responsibility, a sense of ownership to kindness from the very
Okay.
beginning.
Okay.
And it's just, like I say, something to be grateful to be able to help those teachers doing really the most important work. So, and
Yeah.
we're able to do that because of donors,
Okay.
philanthropists, grant money, corporate sponsors. And so we're grateful for all of that. And that's
Yeah.
how we do it. So
Yeah, no, I think I just love your book, how it's just full of so many inspiring stories. So, yeah, with that, what do you hope that readers will feel, understand, or carry into the world after finishing your book?
yeah, that's a big question. When I wrote the book,
Hmm.
I looked at there was three audiences I needed to write the book
Okay.
to, right? So
Hmm.
this first circle, if you will, this first audience were people who are already in the Pink Socks tribe. The over
Hmm.
300,000 pairs of Pink Socks. They get it. They know what it's about. But I needed to write the story to them, maybe tell a little more of the origin story, things that, oh, I never knew that. Yeah, oh, that's
Okay.
great. The second circle are the people that have not received their pink socks yet, haven't been gifted their pink
Hmm.
socks, but they know about pink socks. They've seen
Okay.
it. They just like, oh, what is that about?
Okay.
And then the third circle, the third audience, the larger audience, which is really you, are the
Hmm.
people that have never heard about this. And so
Right.
it had to
Right.
be a message that was universal
Yeah.
that could speak to you.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, Denise, I wrote this book for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it spoke to your heart
Yeah, it
because
definitely did.
it had to resonate with you. It had to
Hmm.
resonate with the people that have never heard of this. And so
Right.
that larger circle, that last circle was really it determined the direction that the book went.
Hmm.
And the takeaway for all of us is just like the cover says, just like the sticker says on the socks, we have to love more. The takeaway
I
is
love that.
it's a reminder for each of us to
Yeah.
show up in each now with love, kindness.
Yeah.
And so, and it's easy to do. All it
Yeah.
takes is practice, like everything else. And the more we show up with love and kindness, the easier it becomes each
Yeah.
time.
No,
And I've
that's
had people say, "Oh, I'm an introvert. I don't really talk to people." Well, great.
mhm.
We let Pink Socks help you. Let
Yeah,
this
I
be
love
the
that.
thing that sparks a connection. If you wear these out or put the sticker on your water
Mhm.
jug or your Mac or whatever,
Uh-huh.
when someone sees that, that's the instructions are on the back. No joke. I mean, this is
Uh-huh.
can you read that? It says,
Yeah.
basically when someone sees these, they're going to say, hey, these are cool. That's your
Okay.
opportunity to connect with someone that had you not been wearing this, the two of you would have missed each other. So
Right.
stop what you're
Right.
doing and
That's
say, it's good to
beautiful.
see you.
Yeah.
And so when those connections happen,
Yeah.
maybe you're a little introverted, a little shy. Maybe, since the pandemic, we've forgotten how to, get along and talk to
Mhm.
people that are strangers. Let this be the spark of connection. And so
Okay.
instead of just saying, when someone says, oh, I like your socks,
Yeah.
instead of just saying thank you and keep going,
Yeah.
stop and go, okay, Nick told me this, and this was in the book. It's on in the directions on the back of the socks they gave me. I'm supposed to do this. And
I
so,
love that.
and you turn around and you say, hey, well, I'm Denise. What's your name?
Yeah.
And, we provide pink socks by the dozens on our
Oh, okay.
website at
Okay.
cost because
Okay.
we not only want you to wear them, we want you to gift them.
I love
Right.
that.
So
Mhm.
it'd be nice if you have an extra pair of pink socks in your bag. The very first time you wear them out,
Yeah.
go out, have an extra pair, and I guarantee you someone's going to say, I like your socks. That's the opportunity to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, Denise, what's your name? Oh, wait a minute, I got something in my bag for you." And then you reach and you gift them their pink
I
socks
love
and
that.
they're go, those are for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are for you. And boom.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes to connect with people And what you will find is
Yeah.
you'll start connecting with people even on the days that you're not wearing your pink socks.
Yeah.
Because not to spoil anything, but it's not really about the pink socks. It's about you,
Yeah.
about each
No, and
of
as
us.
you're,
Yeah.
yeah, as you're seeing this too, is I think it's really cool, like how we were talking about the digital world before. Like this is like going viral in the real world. And I think it's so easy just to click like and then scroll away. But no, this one you actually like it in that sense, but you also have like a conversation. And I
Yeah.
think that's super
Yeah.
cool.
It's an invitation for each of us to give
Yeah.
ourselves the self permission and the space
Yeah.
to connect and sit with a person in real life just for a minute.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, Denise,
Hmm.
a lot of times those moments become minutes, and those minutes can even become an hour or more, because a
Yeah.
lot of times somebody will say, hey, you've gifted them their pink socks and you've had this great connection,
Hmm.
and they'll say, do you have a minute? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got a minute. I'll be late to that next thing. I'll catch the next
Yeah.
train, because someone's going to tell you a story that they need to share, and it's a
Yeah.
story that you need to hear. And
Yeah.
that story is, a lot of times, most oftentimes, it's a sad story. It's about loss.
Yeah.
It's about, I just found out I have cancer, or my wife just
Hmm.
died of cancer. My son's in prison. My daughter's in rehab. I was thinking about killing myself today. I mean,
Yeah.
and when you sit and hold space with someone else's heart speak,
Yeah.
that's when we really see ourselves in each other.
Yeah.
That's where we plug into empathy. That's where we find our shared humanity.
No,
And that's
totally.
how we change the world, Denise, one pair of pink socks at a time, one
Yeah, no,
smile at a time, one connection, one story at a time.
I love that.
Everybody's got a story to share. That's what
Hmm.
you're discovering on the podcast
Yeah, no,
world, being a
actually, thank you
podcast
for
host.
bringing that in. No,
All
that's,
we all
yeah,
we have to do
yeah.
is stop and listen, because everyone's got a story to share if we
No,
stop and listen.
actually, thank you for reminding me. That's another thing I wanted to bring up too that really resonated with me, just your love for storytelling, because yeah, that's why I really love this, doing the podcast on this side. Like I love just hearing people's stories, and
Yeah.
you never know what a person is going through until you like actually just stop and listen. Like, even with this, like we could have just been strangers just passing through, but like had we not connected on this like pod match community, we wouldn't have this opportunity to learn about each other's stories. And
Yep.
yeah, I just feel like, people want to tell their stories because when I first joined this network, I was surprised how many people reached out to me instantly saying like, hey, I want to tell my story. I'm like, I think people have that desire because I feel like society keeps telling us that it's not okay to tell your story and just keep it professional, keep your personal at home. Yeah, but I think people really want to connect and tell their story though.
Yeah. We're all starving for it.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah. So thank you for providing a
yeah, no,
platform.
thank you. And just how you said, it's funny as you said that phrase, like when, socks, pink socks at a time, like what I say about my podcast is I want to change the world one story at a time. So I feel like that's been my mission too.
And so you are. So way to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you too. And like what I wanted to talk with you about too. So something that I want my listeners to feel inspired to do after listening to, these different stories are like tangible ways that they could actually like start to make a difference in their communities and in the world. So how do you hope that people who hear this episode will move in their own communities after listening? Like what are some small tangible steps that they can just start to do even today?
Well, I hope you get the book. I hope you
Mm-hmm.
read the book, and all the proceeds from the book go to the nonprofit to help support us in our mission in spreading love and kindness. I believe you'll get some ideas from the book.
Yeah.
You will get some reminders of things that you already know, but maybe you've forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I often tell people, look, if pink socks isn't your thing, find a thing that is your thing. Maybe it's a fun hat. Maybe it's a flower. Maybe it's,
Yeah.
you dye your hair pink. Maybe, you ride a furry bike. But what is
Uh-huh.
that thing that sparks a connection with someone? Lean into that. That's got to be your thing.
Uh-huh.
And when you have that connection, you have to seize it. You have to say, okay, we're in it, and
Yeah.
not ignore it. And, being kind, it, small things are big things. I mean, we're not curing cancer here.
Right.
We're just showing up with kindness. I mean, My favorite place to go is the post office because I'm always going to the post office to mail pink socks. And the post office, no matter what town you're in, I've stopped at a lot of post office to mail pink socks along the way.
Uh-huh.
Um, it seems to be the place where people can really lose their shit.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a long line at the
I
post office.
know.
Somebody is, and I
Yeah.
routinely, give away Love More stickers and pink socks if I have my bag with me. And I just tell people, say, look, the
Yeah.
post office is an opportunity for us to practice patience.
Right.
It's a meditation. So we need to look at this and be grateful for it. We're able to.
Yeah.
And so if someone's like, I mean, just would you like to come in front of me? I'm not in
Yeah.
a hurry. You need to be somewhere. You're late for that next meeting. Here, just go ahead and get in front. No
Uh-huh.
problem. Something that simple
Yeah.
can change that person's whole day and
Yeah.
maybe even beyond that day. That once
Yeah.
upon a time you were nice to somebody at the post office. Just
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
love
mean, you
that.
see all this fun stuff on social media, which I try to follow the fun people, but like
Uh-huh.
people just randomly jumping in front of line and, paying for someone's groceries and
Yeah.
bolting out. I mean, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't have to do stuff that, involves money, you know,
Yeah.
being kind and connecting with someone with
Yeah.
empathy and compassion, it costs nothing.
Yeah.
The return is just exponential for
And
us, for them, for us, for the world. I
yeah.
mean, the ripple effects of kindness spread so far.
And also with that, you never know what that small act of kindness will do to another person. It could actually change a person's life or at least the day as well. Because as you're talking, I'm reminded of that story that you told of like this, I think this person, I forgot where you were, but this person came in, he looked a little rough around the edges. And then I think he was like criticized. It was like the van or something he made a comment about. And then you were just like,
Yeah,
you actually sat down to listen to his story and like calmed him down. And he ended up like just opening up to you.
that could have
When I feel
gone.
like, yeah, he was so
Yeah,
defensive at first.
yeah. That story could have gone a totally different, tragic direction.
Yeah. No, and I
So,
think that like
yeah,
he probably didn't have that kind of kindness towards him because just the way that you described him in his book, he's probably stereotyped a lot and people just dismissing him and not listening to him, just like labeling him as like a troublemaker or whatever.
well, yeah, and he was obviously tweaking on something,
Hmm.
right? I'm probably going to say meth based on
Yeah.
how he was showing up. So people rightly so to react to how he was showing up.
Yeah.
So I just said, well, I'm just going to, practice what we preach here, which is just love more, fear less.
Yeah.
Fear is not going to get that moment.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't going to show up and produce anything other than more fear,
Right. Right.
more toxicity, more,
Yeah.
just negative stuff. More, the outcome was not going to be good. So
Yeah.
I made a conscious, intentional choice to show up with love and with compassion
Yeah.
and ignore all the fear that he was spiking, because
Yeah.
he was afraid.
Yeah.
And that fear was manifesting itself in anger.
Yeah.
But it gave him enough space and enough time to
Yeah.
listen to him and to not react in a way that fear wanted to be reacted with, but to
Mhm.
show up with love and compassion. It diffused that situation. And I've had a lot of people say that that chapter in the book was the most powerful
Yeah.
chapter in the book. So,
Yeah. No, and thank you. I had such a wonderful time talking with you. I think you do
yeah,
really beautiful work. But
me
just
too.
lastly, before we wrap up the conversation, you often send messages with love and hugs. So what is your love letter to humanity right now?
Love yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Love yourself.
yeah,
Okay. And that's really clutch for all of us. We have to learn to love ourselves. We have to let go of all of the hurt that we
hmm,
may be carrying. We have to forgive a lot of people in our lives. We have to forgive ourselves.
uh-huh,
We have to give ourselves grace and patience with
uh-huh,
wherever we are on our own journey, that we're exactly where we're supposed to be. This is a long game, right? So
yeah,
just let the path unfold. Love yourself. And when you love yourself, then you open yourself up and give yourself space to love somebody else, to love
yeah,
each other. So stay in gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
be patient with wherever you are on your journey, be grateful, and
Yeah.
just, love yourself, and then choose to show up with love and kindness in someone else's life.
Yeah.
It's all the difference.
Yeah.
Change someone's life, drastically by showing up with love and kindness. And what you find is change your own life when you do that.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
just keep doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you again. This was really wonderful. And I just wish you all the best. I hope that this movement continues to grow and grow. But just lastly, how can people find you if they'd like to connect with you?
Yeah. So our website is pinksocks.life,
Okay.
pinksocks.life. That's also
Mhm.
the Instagram account. So come check out a bunch of happy, smiley people and their pink socks around the world on the Instagram account.
Okay.
The website is also the easiest path to the book. You can't
Uh-huh.
miss it. It's right there on the homepage. And that TED Talk that I mentioned is also on the homepage. If you scroll down
Okay.
to the bottom, there's a video of that TED Talk that really gets more into the origin story,
Hmm.
which is also in the book. But yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as Nicholas Adkins,
Hmm.
Adkins.
Okay.
And we're Pink Socks Life on Facebook, Instagram. But yeah, the website's is probably the first gate, to open and come in and check out what we're doing. And you can get
Yeah.
socks there. You can donate there to help us. You can find the book there, all the
Okay.
things at Pinksocks.life, the website.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. You have such a beautiful, kind spirit, and
Thank you.
yeah, I wish you
Likewise.
nothing but the best. Thank you, and yeah,
Yeah.
I hope you have a good rest of your day, and you're always welcome back here anytime.
Thank you, Denise. It's good to
Okay,
see you. I'm so grateful.
thank you
Yeah. Thank
too.
you.
Okay, bye. Thank you for being here and tuning in to Voices That Propel Us, stories of justice, action, and community. Your presence in this movement matters. If today's conversation moved you, share it, talk about it, and keep the work going. Together, we're not just imagining change, we're making it. Until next time, stay bold, stay grounded, and stay in the fight.